the story kind of first features this stone which sort of talks in a really mythical way. Um, and why does the stone talk? Because the stone saw a Buddhist monk and a Taoist monk. Remember, Taoist being a Chinese indigenous religion. So Buddhist and Taoist monk, they sort of encountered the stone, and the stone was asking the monks to bring it to the human world so that it could experience um the colorfulness of the human world and enjoy itself. And there it goes. That's the beginning of the story. A stone wants to experience humanity.
How did the stone? I mean, get is there any explanation of how the stone got there or started? Was able to speak?
um I read one of the commentaries in the original book, and the comment was really sassy. It says, "Whoever asked the question has no heart."
Well, there you go. I guess I have no heart. Um,
It's like that's not important. What's important is the fact that a stone wants to experience humanity.
okay. So the stone wants to experience humanity, and because he meets the um Taoist and Buddhist monk.
Hmm.
Um, and so how does he then go from being a stone to experiencing humanity?
Because the monks agreed to bring the stone to the humanity, and it's
Okay.
sort of um like the monks sort of somehow the stone's soul, if it has one, ends up in um a a newborn baby's mouth, and that newborn baby is the main character of the whole book.
I see.
Yeah.
So the stone basically becomes uh ingrained, or I guess incarnated into a newborn baby.
Could be, you could say that. You could also say that the newborn baby has got like a stone which becomes a jade that sort of hides in his mouth when he like was born into this world.
Ah,
And the stone or the jades basically, um in the Chinese language, it symbolizes desire.
okay.
Yeah, because it's the same pronunciation. Yu.
I see.
Yeah. So
Um,
both jade and desire.
Very interesting.
So desire was born into this baby.
Very cool. And so this baby becomes the main character.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess as I understand, he's from an aristocratic family.
Yeah, that's all you know.
What?
That's all you know about the baby and the family, because as I said before, there's no particular social context that the family belongs to.
Okay. And then so I guess what is the arc of the story for those who are like the stone? Um,
And then it like the baby boy grows up
okay,
and surrounded by girls.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's a love story.
There are some stories like plot lines um that describes the relationship between the boy and like the female characters around him.
Mm, okay.
And during the middle of, it was the fifth chapter, was sixth chapter, but um like this boy had a dream in like one of the girls' chamber. It was like so it was all relatives, right? It might sound weird, but in it was not like so weird in like back then in China. It's like it's pretty common to have relationships with your cousin or something. Like people don't have any idea of like why that might be bad. It's just like you just take it for granted. But this boy went into one of the girls' chambers, like bed chambers, and he fell asleep. And during um during his sleep he had a dream, and that dream was really significant because that's the first time he got like sexual experience with one of the
I
figures
see.
in his dream. And it also sort of um like the boy has like the boy also listens to like a sort of opera thing, which sort of sets the foundation for the entire book. It
Mm.
also tells the destiny of like all the main characters basically.
So is that why it's called Dream of the Red Chamber?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Very interesting. Um,
The red chamber sort of symbolizes like uh human life.
really?
Yeah.
Ah, I would have thought that would be like the because when you're talking about
And
the
also probably because there are like lots of female characters
yeah, I was
in
gonna say
the
the
family.
when you talked about him having his first like
Sexual
sexual experience,
experience.
that's what came to mind for me first when I, like the Red Chamber.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I guess
Yeah,
you
mainly because there's a lot of girls. Yeah.
okay. um, so I guess you probably don't want to give too much away in the book, right?
Yeah, I don't want to spoil the book, and also it's like impossible for me to give a full summary of the plotline just because how long the book is.
Right. So why don't we get into some of the themes that you said at the beginning that you're planning on talking about? Um, do you have one that you prefer to start with? I mean, I was thinking Buddhism would be a very interesting.
Can we start with the actual plotline first?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So there are multiple stories that's took place in this book, and one of them being the main character, Jia Baoyu, his relationship towards um two of the female characters. So one of them is actually um his little cousin. Her name was Lin Daiyu, and they sort of got a thing from there's a thing that's happening between them in a really early age. And then they really liked each other. Not in a sexual way, but in a really effective way because they're too young. And of course, it will be unimaginable. And as they grow up, everyone, include themselves, thought that they're gonna get married eventually. Uh, but there's one chapter when the family's attitude towards this couple changed. They thought that the two are not really suitable for each other, but instead there's another girl. Um, Her name was Xue Baochai, and the family thought that well, maybe this new girl has a better fit for the main character. So eventually, it was these people got married, whereas the main character Jia Baoyu, he believed that he married the person he wanted to, but actually when the marriage is the marriage the ceremony was over and they were brought into their room, um it was at that moment he figured that he didn't marry the person he wants to, whereas the person he wants to marry died in tuberculosis.
Wait, so he there's basically two it starts out two young people who are in love. Not in a sexual way, as you said, because they're young, and then they
They
think
just really like each
they
other.
really like each other, and they think they're going to get married. Everybody thinks it's going to get married. That's kind of how it's leading, and then at the ceremony, um, oh, you said after the ceremony, it's when
Yeah,
he realizes.
yeah,
So how does that?
like the wedding, I mean.
How does that
Yeah.
work? How does that work? That like, because I would think even I know nothing about how weddings are taking place in China, but how would it work that he would go through the ceremony not knowing, and then only when he um
You could think that he's being hypnotized.
really interesting. That is I mean I'm guessing so he probably didn't take the news very well, right?
Hmm?
I mean I'm assuming that he was pretty depressed after finding out that he didn't marry the woman he loved.
He was he was dead like at a psychological level, but he didn't die eventually. Um, he had a really great life, I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened after he the woman he loved died of tuberculosis and he marries the woman that he doesn't want to love?
Because there's so I want to bring us back to the symbolism of jades, which supposedly would symbolize desire. Um, I think during that moment, when he figured out, like around that time, when he figured out that he married the person he didn't want to, he somehow lost his jade. Like he was always the jade was always around him, um, throughout his childhood, and at that moment, like around those time, he sort of lost it. So try to think about what that means. Like he lost his, you know, desire.
Mm. I was gonna say, what do you, because there's different kinds of desire, and desire can be, I guess, towards different things, or you could say desire is just it's a holistic perspective. I mean, what do you think that desire represent? Like what,
desire, like the J represents desire, which
but desire
all of us
for,
have.
I guess, do you take it as desire for something specific, or desire is a holistic?
Just desire itself.
Okay, so he loses that desire after.
He no, he lost the jade. He lost the jade, which supposed to symbolize desire. Yeah.
Okay, he loses the jade that symbolizes desire. So in a way, I mean, so do you think that the author wants us to, like, wants people to see that moment, him losing the jade, as him coinciding with him losing his desire?
I wouldn't say he lost his like. There's no way to tell that he lost his desire. Like all we can tell is like as a matter of fact, he lost the jades.
Okay.